Hey everyone, it's Lance Meister, the Undead Viking. I'm here with another review for you. This is not the game I'll be reviewing today. This is Duel of Legends. What I will be reviewing for you today is Duel of Legends, the deluxe set. Da, 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 da. Now, actually, Adam, the designer of Duel of Legends, has actually taken his design, something that I actually reviewed a little while ago, actually more than a little while ago, but in the past, like about last 4 or 5 months, I suppose, and he has refined the game, made it better, if you will, and he has now come up with Duel of Legends, the deluxe set. Now, you can still get the core set, and you can get these games through GameCrafter. You can still get the core set, but the deluxe set comes with the player life mats that you can have, and also comes with dice that you use to put the modifiers on certain cards and stuff, and I'll explain that when I show you how to play the game. And it also comes with these cool orange gems, if you will, that you use to track your life. Now, the core set just has the cards of the game, and it is fully playable as well, but obviously this is pretty cool box, so there you go. Duel of Legends is a well, it's a dueling game, if you will. Most likely it's going to be played head-to-head, one person against the other. But I've played this game many times, especially with the designer, when he has come to like a local convention that we have here in Fargo, North Dakota. I played it like with 4 players, like a free-for-all, if you will. And that's one of the cool things about the game, and I mentioned this in my past review as well, that it is a really malleable game. It can really, you can come up with your own rules, your own tournaments, your own brawls, if you will. But let me show you the game and how to play, and then we'll come back here and I'll talk about Duel of Legends and why I have fun playing this game. Alright, cool. This is the game, Duel of Legends Deluxe Edition, that you see in front of you. I've set out all the cards, all the dice, the little markers, or what have you. I'm just going to show you how to play the game. It's pretty quick, it's pretty simple, and in comparison to the earlier version, they've kind of changed up a few of the rules as far as the spells go and everything like that. If you want to see how the old game was played, I invite you to check out my old video of this, but I'm not going to be referencing that. I'm just going to show you how to play this version of the game. So, to begin the game, usually you'll be playing with head-to-head against somebody, or maybe you're playing with 3 or 4 people. That's the really cool thing about this game, is that you can just kind of, you know, go on the fly and come up with your own rules. And I'll talk a little more about that in the conclusion here, but usually you're just playing head-to-head against one person. So to begin the game, each person will draw one of these class cards, and so you can see that there's all these different people, you know, a Nightblade, a Cleric, a Thief, a Necromancer, and so on and so forth. Awesome art, and you know, each of these people, they say how many items they can have here, how many spells they have here, and any kind of special rules that they have. So like the Knight, +1 the attack rating of any weapon, +1 the defense rating. Makes sense, right? A Knight. So like, you look at, like, say the Battle Mage, it draws 4 spell cards and does not draw a defense item. So you know, you can see that then he actually has a maximum of 4, but you can see there, you know, they don't get anything to like protect themselves, which is actually pretty major. I'm just going to point out one character really quick. I have played the Vampire Lord in approximately 10 or a dozen duels, and I've never won with this guy, so don't play him. So anyway, so let's say we have the Vampire Lord. Okay, so we have the Vampire Lord, and let's just take a look at his abilities. He can have up to 2 items, both defense and attack, so he can have a defensive item and a weapon. And he gets 3 spells, and at the end of your turn, if you dealt damage to any player, you gain 2 health. If you did not deal any damage, or you lost your turn, take 1 bleed damage. He's a vampire. He's got to drink blood, right? So you go that, and then you take these little, and you start off with, you go ahead and you start with 20 health, so you just go ahead and put your little marker there on 20. If you attack somebody and succeeds, you would go like this to show that you got 22. Pretty straightforward. So, as you can see then, you then draw the items. So here we have, he gets 1 weapon, and so we see what the weapon is. And the weapon, oh, it's a claymore. Oh, it's very nice. You can see it has an attack rating of 7, so if I wallop somebody over the head with this, I do 7 points of damage. It is, that thing says it is metal. There's certain spells and abilities that will, you know, get affected if it's metal. like, you know, like lightning bolts. If you have a metal armor or a metal weapon, it does extra damage to you. And so this little thing here says 2. So when you attack with this, what'll happen is you'll spin it once, spin it twice, and then each turn you refresh and you refresh again before it can be used again. And so it says here, the Claymore can be used as a defense item. Its defense rating is equal to its current attack rating, affected by any spell targeting defense items. And so you block damage as it comes into you. And in this case, like, but if it's tapped, if you've used it, so it's like turned there or there, you couldn't use it. But as long as it's like this, you could use it as a defense item. And I'll talk about that more in just a little bit here. So then you get one defense item. So let's go ahead and look at what we got here. We get Chainmail. Has a 6 defense. That's pretty sweet. It's metal. And while the chainmail is under your control, +1 to the attack rating of any weapon you control. Well, that's pretty sweet, right? So when you do something like that and shows a +1, one of the things you do is you take... These dice aren't rolled. They're used to put markers. And so you put that in there right there just to remind yourself that this is got an 8 attack rating instead of a 7. Just so you know. So then we take our spells. 1, 2, 3... And we're going to see what we got here. So we get Mind Spike, instant effect. Target player cannot use a spell card the next turn. And this is a great spell because it protects you from another spell. Reflective Armor. Enchanted defense item is used to block. Reflect the amount of block damage. Ooh, that's pretty cool. And then Corrode Weapon. Great spell. Reduce a target weapon's attack rating by 3. So like if somebody had cast that on there, it would be +1, but it would go down to like a -2, so you'd do that, so it has a -2. So things you remember about that. So now you have your spells. You keep those secret unless you have to show them. There's a spell in the deck that actually allows other players to see the different spells that are being cast. And then you begin the game. You figure out who goes first, and then I'm not going to set up other players. I'm just going to have this out here. Once you figure out who goes first, on your turn, you have to decide what you're going to do. You only get to take one action, and so you got to take just that one, and then you go on to the next person. You could be as simple as just making attack. You pick one person. If you're playing one person, like you're dueling somebody, you'd say, I'm attacking you with my sword. And then you'd spin that to where it has to be, and like so. If you'd rather, you can do what's called a swap. Like if you don't like your sword or you like your armor, you can take the weapon that you have, you can put it on the bottom of the deck, like so, and then you take the weapon that's on the top. And so in this case, now you have a flail. If attack with flail is blocked, +2 to the total damage. So, and then also it does 8. So you kind of improve that a little bit. Once again, you'd put the 1 back on there because it's slightly better. And now you'd have a different weapon. Same thing with the armor. On the turn, if in action, you don't get to do both, but if you want to get rid of your armor, you'd take that, you'd put it down. I don't know why you do this. I just want to show you how you do it. So then you turn over. And leather boots. So leather boots are under your control. +1 attack rating any weapon under your control and reduce the refresh to 1 turn. That's pretty sweet. So now, whoops, it still gets the bonus. These you can block of 3. It's leather. But you can now, instead of having a refresh rate of 2, you'd only go to there. So it's pretty sweet. Every turn, it would refresh, and you'd be able to attack with it. So that's a pretty sweet ability, actually. So if you don't want to do any of that swapping, and you don't want to attack with your sword, now you can cast a spell, if you so desire. Spells do come in several different effects. There are spells that can interrupt certain spells. Like, I remember we had the Mind Spike spell. So it's got an interrupt effect. You can cast that to nullify the effects of the spell that's targeting you. Some of the spells are enchantments, and these are permanent unless you can get rid of them. One thing nice is that if somebody does destroy your weapon or something like that, you can get rid of it, like I said, with that swap, and then that gets rid of that as well. You can also get a permanent spell, and I don't think I have a permanent spell. Let me see if I can find one here. Oh yeah, here we go. So you can get what's called a permanent spell, which you just put into play, and then Life Ward. Target player takes 2 less damage from all spells. And so if Mark of Death is effective for target player, remove it and keep Life Ward in play. Mark of Death is something that makes you take extra damage. So there's permanent spells as well, and until those are taken away from you or dispelled, they'll stay in effect during the game. Okay, so you can attack, and then you can also cast a spell. And if your class has an activated ability, you can do that as your action as well. So let me just see if I can actually point out one that has it. Oh, like this here, the cleric. Discard a spell card, gain 5 health, up to 20 total health, and remove all bleed counters for once. So you could use an activated ability like of a character as well. But those are the different things that you can do. It may seem very simple, and it may seem very straightforward, and in a way it is. But as you play the game, this is a game that kind of goes against the grain for the types of games that I enjoy. Because you get through the exploration of the game pretty quickly. But the tactical knowledge of the cards and knowing what your opponents can do and their abilities and how to combat that is when this game kind of starts to open up and it really starts getting fun. But I'll explain more about that in my conclusion, which I'll do right now. Alright, there you go. That's how you play Duel of Legends. Now, there's a couple things I need to say really quick. I totally blanked this out, and I do apologize when I was showing you how to play the game. There is a new phase in the game now that is the spell draw phase, meaning that you actually do get to draw a new spell on your turn, regardless of whether you cast a spell or not. And that actually is a really huge change. I can't believe I forgot to mention that, and that is a really, really good change with this game, because of the fact that you can actually start cycling through the spells, and you can actually get, it's not such a static game as far as that goes, and it's very dynamic. And plus, the spell hand limit actually comes into play, because when you draw one, then you have to discard one if you have too many. And but if you are stuck in a situation where you can't affect somebody, you can then get the spell you need. Their power is too great or whatever. They have too much defense, because they have plate mail on or something like that. And so then you actually then pull up the lightning bolt spell, and it does bonus damage against metal, and so then you're able to affect them. Things like that. And so it's a huge part of the game, and it really helps out a lot. And then, of course, if you get through the spell deck, you just reshuffle it and the discards, and then you go from there. The other thing I forgot to mention, it was in the base game as well, was that if you block something, if the item that you block with it doesn't have enough defense to counterattack the attack that you're being hit with, that item is destroyed and the carryover damage affects you. Now, I mentioned that in the old game, but if you haven't seen the earlier review, that's what it is. And so you can actually get your equipment destroyed if you try to use it to block. And so, but more often than not, you're going to use it anyway, because the alternative is not to block the damage coming in, and you just take it all. So there you go. Sorry about, I forgot to mention those, but I just want to make sure you knew that portion of how to play the game. So why do I like Duel of Legends? Well, it's the exact same reason why I liked it before. I mentioned at the very end of the explanation of how to play the game that I'm a kind of an exploratory gamer, and this is more of a game that once it's way better when you know all the cards and you know everything there is about it. I am a person that when I play, I get tired of playing a game once I've kind of figured it out. Once I know all the strategies, once I know all the cards, once I know all the little spots on the board, once I know the best way to play a certain situation, a certain thing. And that isn't fun for me anymore. I can't just race somebody to see who's got the best ability to put things together. It just isn't fun for me at that point. And that when that happens with games is they usually end up getting pushed to the back of my need to play pile. And then eventually they either vanish or I just give them away or something like that. But I was surprised after now I've played Duel of Legends probably 25, 30 times at least, that I still keep coming back for more. And it's probably one of two things. One, I like the fact that I know the whole game. I'm going to be kind of sad once Adam comes out with expansions for it, because I'm going to have to relearn a lot of the stuff. But I like how the different cards work with each other, how the different cards you can combine different weapons and different defenses and spells and all those things to try to come up with a way to take out your enemies. And all the while you're actually fighting against somebody who's trying to do the exact same thing. And it's the person that can come up with those best combos and those best tactics that ends up usually winning the game. Because the damage isn't random or anything like that. It's just, I'm going to use, this spell, on you, to weaken you, and then next round I'm going to use the follow-up spell that's going to take you out, that sort of thing. And I like the tactics of it. The other thing I've liked about it, I mentioned this in the old review as well, is the fact that, yeah, the most common way you're going to play is just a duel, one person against each other. But, like I said, I've played it lots of times with a free-for-all with 3-4 people. And if you want to play with even more, you can. I mean, you can, I mean, you're going to run out of cards. I mean, I think once you get up to 6, you're kind of pushing it. But I mean, because you only really have, like, you have a limited number of weapons and defenses. But, you know, there's nothing wrong with playing against that. You just have to recognize the fact that you're going to be pretty much using all of the weapons and defense, you know, cards that are out there. And you're, you know, shortchanging yourself. But that's fine. I mean, it probably works best with 4, in my opinion. That's like the most fun number for me. I like the whole free-for-all. I like the table banner. I like being able to try to convince people to attack the guy next to me instead of me. You know, so that's when the game really shines for me. But even with 4 people, you could play teams. You could play 3 against 1, give one person 60 health and everybody else has 20. And then make sure that it's a you go, I go thing, so that one person gets to go after every other person's turn. And see if the 3 of you can work together to take that one person down. You can, like, all kinds of variants and things like that you can just come up with on your fly. What I really like about the game is that I can actually, like, because, you know, I get the game better than my daughter, but this is a game I can play with my 7-year-old girl, and, you know, it's pretty simple. I just give myself less health. And I see if she can beat me. And then if she can beat me at like 10 health, then I give myself 15. I see if she can beat me at that. And then if she beats me at that, well, okay, let's go back up to 20. Let's go head-to-head and see what happens there. And I'm sad to say she actually has defeated me straight up. But I was able to teach her the game and get her, and I could handicap myself in those situations, which I really dug. So for all those reasons, and the old ones as well, my old video, I really can't say enough about Duel of Legends. It is a ton of fun in a small little box. My understanding is that they're actually coming out with an app for the phone that will, well, a tablet too, I suppose, but that'll actually be the life mat, so you'll be able to track your health on your phone, and also actually have all the modifiers and everything in it as well. Depending on like the different weapons and armor combinations and spells and whatever. So that's pretty cool. I'm excited to see that when that comes out. And like I said, if you're interested in picking up a copy, they are for sale right now. And the only place I know you can get them out of, as far as right now, is through GameCraft. So there you go. That is Duel of Legends. If you have any questions about the game, please ask away. I'll be happy to answer those. As always, I greatly appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. And until next time, you have yourself one heck of an awesome day. All right, bye-bye.